Hey guys, how's it going? So it's the day after the Lofty Grand Traverse, and thought I'd touch base to let you know how I feel it went. So, did complete the whole course, which ended up being 109 kilometers actually, which was mega tough, so tough. I actually felt like really strong for probably the first half of it, and taking a good amount of breaks and keeping the hydration up and eating every half an hour or so. Um, and yeah, charging along pretty well, and I felt like the bike was pretty good for the majority of that. But I started to notice in the second half, like just the weight of the bike, and I think the geometry of these progressive bikes is suited to this kind of stuff, but generally they're made a little bit heavier to be more capable and durable, which actually was a bit of a standout feature for this type of event, because I saw plenty of other people having mechanicals and punctures and whatnot, and I didn't even get close to having anything like that. Like, the most maintenance I had to do throughout the day was I tightened up my derailleur screw, the one that bolts it to the hanger, which is just something that happens with my bike normally anyway. No matter what amount of Loctite or whatever I put on there, it still always undoes itself a bit, and it's just something I always have to check. So it started pretty strongly with a large group of people, and ended up getting a little bit separated from the main group due to there's some waiting for people, which is fine because we're not going to leave anybody behind and try and help everybody make it through. Uh, Other times was just having a bit of an extended rest after a hard effort, which I think contributed to being able to actually finish the event. Um, and yeah, like over time, the weight of the bike was a bit of a hindrance. I find it's just the grind. It's more so the grinding fire road stuff. Belair National Park, there was a lot of parts in there where, like, I'm not ashamed to say there was a couple of spots where I got off and pushed the bike up because it was just not worth expending the energy. The pipeline climb back up to O'Halloran Hill was mega tough, and I'm not a person who uses the 52 from my Eagle all that much, but yeah, I just sat in it and spun the whole time. Um, I did, however, though, find it was so enjoyable to do some of the single track blasting after all of the grinding, and then getting to parts like Craigburn Farm and some of the Sturt Gorge and O'Halloran at the end. Like, I still had all the energy to just shred it for the downhills, and like it made me feel like all of the grinding is just worth it, just for the fun, like the single track experience that you get out of it. Um, yeah, it was just like the biggest ride I've ever done, to be honest, and very hard work. And in hindsight, I'm a strong believer in these progressive geometry bikes being able to pretty much do anything. And yeah, it can do it, but would I recommend it? Like, probably not. Because, well, if it were light, if you had the same thing and it were light, then yeah, definitely. Because the single track blasting is just so much fun on a bike like this. It's very capable in the technical climbing, extended periods of climbing with the weight of the bike. My bike is around 16 and a half kilos. It's, yeah, it's just exhausting over time, and you'd be better off investing in something that is a bit lighter and more efficient, maybe a little bit more travel. I don't know. I don't think the travel was really the problem. I think it's just the weight, because I've got a coil sprung bike and it's fully loaded up. Enduro tires, not very fast rolling tread. It's what I like to ride most of the time, so it can do it, but probably pick something else if you're going to do something like this, because it's just hard work, like so much hard work, which is probably not surprising to anyone, but I do like to test these things. So, how did I go with what I had in the pack? Pretty good. I think I actually planned really well. So all of the training I've been doing with my personal trainer and just my own training is definitely paying off, because I feel fine today. Like my quads are a bit tight, and I guess just a bit of general fatigue, some stuff I wasn't anticipating. My traps were pretty sore by the end from just holding my neck up. As far as eating things, I ate the 2 full bags trail mix, all but one of the gels, a lot of water. I filled up 3 times, I think, but it was mainly just, I actually ended up filling the bottles up more than the hydration bladder, which was not what I was expecting. I thought I'd be going through just the main water more, but I found myself using the electrolyte mix with a little bit of salt poured in more, and that was really good. That Endura stuff is mint. So good. Highly recommend that. Endura Hydration Fuel. The bars, the protein nut bars I had, they were fine. I had all but one of those. All the trail mix was like dried fruit. That's about it. Oh, thanks so much to Lindsay's partner Jody for sort of around about halfway. She stopped off with a little bit of a refuel and gave us a Coke Zero and a muffin, which had like some nice protein-rich seeds in it and stuff. And yeah, it had like pumpkin and spinach or something in it, and yeah, that helped a lot. And to Lindsay from Velomech as well, like, stoked on being able to finishing the second half with you, mate. Like, you helped me keep pace, and we'd sort of had each other's back in the hard parts and got to rip some awesome single track, and yeah, awesome. Appreciate that so much. But yeah, let's have a look at how the bike fared. So we can see all sorts of different types of soil on here. Dropper post got pretty dirty. Seat didn't wear out at all, which is good considering the amount of saddle time. It's fairly comfortable. Yeah, do rate this. Specialized one, which I've never used one before, but it seemed pretty good. Linkages are pretty chockers from just all the different conditions we had. It was raining and pouring at Eagle on the hill, and then it was dusty and dry in other places. Foggy and cold in the morning. A little bit of everything. So yeah, not too much crap in there. Everything seems to be spinning pretty well still. It's actually fairly clean compared to what you'd expect. I have noticed that the rear tyre DHR2 is pretty chewed up. So it's not really all that old, maybe a couple of months. Of some of which I was actually injured, so it didn't really get used. But you can see the side knobs are pretty chewed up here. The center knobs are smashed. So I guess that comes from a lot of aggressive braking and just rolling over rough stuff fast, and probably some of the transitions in between sections on the road. Cassette and everything is actually surprisingly clean. I only had to tighten the derailleur bolt up once. No movement in there, so the GX has proved itself to be a far better derailleur than the NX that it replaced. So if you have an NX, I would definitely say do that upgrade. Front tyre, Assegai, hardly any wear at all. Not even anything. I mean, it still has the little tabs on the side there. So I went for the Max Terra Exo Plus this time. Just sacrificed a little bit of grip, but the durability is just amazing, and this thing just feels so good in turns. A perfect match for this bike, considering it's a bike that you actually do have to be aggressive over the front in the cornering situations, which, like, you'll see from any videos where I've crashed previously, it usually comes from not being heavy enough over the front. Suspension stanchions look pretty clean. 100 kilometers, 109 kilometers. You would think they'd be pretty messy, but pretty good. Seals are a little bit dirty, so we'll clean them up. Quad lock was great. The phone didn't move around at all. I would say it's not real useful for a ride of this length because you just can't keep your battery going long enough. You see, I had a charger here strapped to the handlebar, and that did help, but it's just not really the right setup for anything over about 50 Ks. I would say just get yourself a Garmin head unit. The adjustments I made to the stack height, all that, absolutely perfect. It was so much easier to ride up a hill. I rolled back the bars a bit, as you can see. My body position felt heaps better. So I angled the seat a little bit. Felt perfect. Didn't have to use the pump at all. Didn't have to use a tube or anything. Pretty dirty in there, but we'll clean that up in a minute. Nothing really, no scuffs or anything. So yeah, I'd say it's done pretty well. Absolute beast of a thing, this bike. Probably not your pick for an all day. Like, I would ride it all day again, but probably just not that far. There's a lot of climbing, and it does climb really well, but if you want to get into this endurance type thing, honestly, just pick something else, because I'm gonna look into a light trail bike, I reckon, and then I might up the front travel on this a bit to 160 and just use this primarily for shuttling and racing. So yeah, love this bike, but probably not for this type of riding. So yeah, that's about it. Cheers to everyone that I shared this journey with, and thanks to you guys for watching and just listen to me ramble on about my experience. Yeah, in closing, progressive geometry bikes, absolutely fantastic, love it, capable of way more than you would think. Probably not for something like this, but stay tuned and I'll be looking into something more suitable in the very near future and doing a few more epic trail rides, but this bike won't be going anywhere. It's here to stay for all the hardcore riding and probably a lot of the gnarly videos and stuff. So yeah, awesome. Cheers for tuning in. Awesome day out with everyone and looking forward to a new challenge. Peace.